So first of all, can you talk a little bit about your inspiration for the series?
Well, it came about because Gareth Neame, whose company is Carnival, and I were working on something completely different, actually, a contemporary thing. And so we kind of got to know each other a little, and then it didn't happen. And he was the one. He said, what would you feel about sort of revisiting Gosford Park territory? And, these things are funny, really. Initially, I thought, not funny. And then I started to think about it. And a feature film, by definition, you've only got so long. Whereas, of course, television series, even in one series, you've got 8 hours or something to play with. And I knew I was reading a book about the American heiresses who came over in the 1880s. There were far more of them than people realise. There were about 350 or something like that, all married into the aristocracy. And I started imagining, and I thought, well, we know about these girls, but what happened to them? Were they, 20, 30 years later, they were sitting in Staffordshire, waiting for something to happen. And I realised that once I'd started to imagine a character, then I probably was going to say yes to the series.
And what was it that first attracted you to the series?
As always, it was the script, and Julian Fellowes does know that world of the early 20th century extremely well, and he writes, I think, very benevolently about this whole range of characters, and I think it's a bit of a miracle that he's managed to sustain sort of 15 or 16 principal characters to a level of interest for an audience that I haven't come across before. And so when I read the first script, I was so eager to read the second, because I got to know, even in those first sort of 90 pages, about so many different people. I wanted to know what happened to them next. So that's what attracted me, the strength of the writing.
Tell us a little bit about your character in Downton Abbey.
Yeah, I play Anna, who is the head housemaid, and she's very sweet, very kind. She's kind of the go-between between the junior members of staff and the more senior members of staff. She's also lady's maid to the 3 daughters of the house, so I do quite a lot upstairs, kind of dressing them and doing their hair and all that. So it's quite nice because I get involved in the storylines from upstairs and downstairs. So, and she's tough as well. She's very kind-hearted and forgiving, but she doesn't suffer fools gladly. So she sticks up for herself at the same time, and she's got a blossoming friendship with Mr. Bates as well.
I play Lady Edith Crawley, who's the middle of the 3 daughters. She's slightly overlooked completely in comparison to Mary, certainly. So she's very jealous of her older sister and the attention. And the sort of question of the entail and who's going to get the money in the house and the estate, it's all about Mary and if Mary will get that. And so Edith kind of resents that a bit and in a way wishes that Mary's won't get it. So she can be a little bit devious and a little bit stirry when it comes to things in Mary's life after that, really.
My character, Lady Sybil Crawley, she's the youngest of the 3 sisters, and she's a fair bit younger, so has only started really being included in everything that's going on with the family and not being treated like the kid anymore. And but she's a little different. She's not particularly interested with everything that's happening with the entail and all this stuff. She's got ideas and opinions of her own, and I think for the first part at least they're festering, and she's a voice of things to come, I think.
Now, there's a strong sense of sort of changing times, end of an era kind of feel about the piece. What was the kind of inspiration for that? Was it just the setting, or...?
Well, I think we both, Gareth and I, wanted to be in a period where the modern world was starting. And we didn't want to make a series about crinolines and everyone in carriages and, all of that. These people have a car, take the train, they have electricity, they have a telephone installed actually during the series. And although I'm not suggesting this makes their life normal, obviously it's very unusual the way they live, but of course it was pretty unusual in their own time. A very small percentage of the population lived as they live. But a very large percentage of the population were involved in that way of life on some level or other. And we felt that by putting it in a time where these modern implements that we still use, albeit in a different form. It created a kind of bridge into that period, really.
And what was it like working with the rest of the cast? Because there's some brilliant actors, and it's quite a sort of large range of actors as well.
It was fantastic. We were working with legends like Maggie Smith and Penelope Wilton, and newcomers like Rose Leslie and Sophie McShea, and it was a genuine ensemble. And by the end of the shoot, I had a bit of a lump in my throat because I haven't enjoyed a job as much for years and years and years. And it's a credit to the quality of the writing and the quality of the cast. It was a phenomenal cast to work with. And we had some, very happy memories, and it's a pleasure to work on great material with great people.